everyone. Um, I've been kind of itching to do this live all day today, and I wanted to do it this morning, but I didn't have the enough time to get it together. So here I am, and I'm going to be sharing a couple of stories with you to illustrate the point that I want to make. And it may sound maybe like it's a little all over the place, but I'm going to tie everything together. And I think I titled this live, Can We Save or Help Anyone or Everyone or Even Anyone? So let me just give you a little backstory. I had a real breakthrough this week for myself on something that I've been struggling with emotionally for the past, honestly, maybe 5 to 6 years. And it's a struggle, and it's been something I've been, like an internal struggle that I've been kicking around in my brain and in my heart, and a lot of frustration for me inside. And I knew that I was not at peace. I knew that this thing that I'm very, very passionate about means a lot to me personally. But it was causing harm actually to me. And so this week, sometime early in the week, I literally probably threw up like a flare to the universe, like maybe even like an SOS flag. I don't know. But it was a prayer, and it was like, I need this thing to crack open, please. Like, I am spinning my wheels. I'm frustrated. Nobody else really probably even cares, but I'm just spinning my wheels, and I'm getting very emotionally invested in something. I will be a little more specific. And in the asking for help, in the throwing the flare up to the universe, there was even a couple people that I wanted to reach out and sort of use them as a sounding board, because this one person in particular, I was like, oh, she's got her shit together about this. This woman is centered and grounded and is coming from a place of neutrality, even though she would understand the struggle that I created for myself. She's come to a place of like peace in her heart around it. And I thought, I really should reach out to this person. I'm not going to say any names. But I didn't. I thought of her, and I thought of somebody else, and then I threw the prayer up to the universe. And then the next day, like, I went to bed, and the next day my heart had totally shifted. And I was like, whoa, this is amazing and a miracle. And I was so very thankful for the shift in my heart. Now, I will say that I've had many conversations with a very dear friend of mine. I won't say her name either, but we've had many deep spiritual conversations, both around our personal things in our personal life and also in our business. And this person in particular always helps me go really, really deep. She shows me a perspective that I don't often see for myself, but the minute that she starts talking, I'm like, okay. And she helps me if I'm here and I'm like struggling on the earthly plane. She like really brings the topic to this other level for me that I don't want to say is better, but it's a higher perspective. She guides me to a place of looking at the situation from the way that like the creator sees it, and also my higher self sees it, and my healed, if Anastasia didn't have the triggers and the woundings and the inner child, all that stuff, she just asks questions. We talk about things, and she really, it's like I'm here struggling, and she's like, all right, let's look at it from here. Now, it is challenging, to go there. I'm not going to lie. It's uncomfortable. And sometimes I'm kicking and screaming because I'm like, ugh. I know she's right in the sense that she's really seeing the higher perspective and she's really helping me. Ooh, that's my phone. She's really helping me to shift. But it's not always easy. But I always am listening. Even if I'm in a place of like resistance, I'm always listening to what she's saying. I will process it after. And so as this thing broke open for me this week, conversations that I've had with her were brought back to mind. And I'm going to share a story that she shared with me that I think will help to illustrate the point. So to bring it back to me, I've been from time to time sharing things that are important to me, sharing different things that I see in the world that are happening, and sharing like a different perspective. Maybe we don't have all the information. Maybe there are things that we've been lied to about. Maybe there's been a lot of manipulation going on behind the scenes, collectively, globally. And here I am wanting people to have more information, different information, what I perceive to be truth that will help humanity become free and liberated. So where I was coming from is if people only had this information, then they might see things the way I see things, and they might understand things differently, and they might honestly quite feel like, oh wow, we've all been lied to. But also in that information is knowing that we can break out of the matrix, that we can choose another way, that there's a place where we are really truly free. But I do feel like we have been slaves and enslaved and under a lot of heavy programming and under spells, pretty much, like done thousands of years ago, that have put humans under spells where we are. I mean, let's be honest, most of us are in one way or another debt slaves. We may have credit card debt. If you have a mortgage, you are indebted to an organization, a bank, a financial institution. Okay, so just laying all of that out there. And I'm not going to go into detail because what I really want to share will, I think, help to highlight my point even more. But in me sharing some of this information, sometimes it ruffles feathers. Sometimes people like just don't want to see it or hear it, or it's uncomfortable, or they just don't believe it. So I've been struggling with, how much do I share? Is it really worth it? Who's listening? Who's not listening? Who cares? Who hates me for saying X, Y, and Z? And I have to like kind of look at myself and go, why do I care if people don't like me? If I'm sharing an opinion or sharing information. So anyway, been struggling with this for like 5 or 6 years, wanting to share different things with folks, feeling the temperature in the room, always asking questions, seeing where are people at. Do they want to have a conversation about this? Maybe, maybe not. Okay. So let me bring this back to my friend that I was just talking about. So, and I think this will drive the point home. This is where part of my aha has come in. So my friend knows a couple that she's friendly with, and one of the people has been going through some health challenges, and the other person in the relationship has reached out to my friend on several occasions over the past probably at least 1 or 2 years and said, oh my gosh, this is what we're going through. Are you able to do you have any other resources other than traditional medicine? One of the partners was asking for my friend for help, and my friend, of course, similar to me, is in the holistic world, spiritual world, and we have resources. And she said, absolutely, I can connect you with a handful of people, and you can, call them and have a call and see if you want to work with them. So this was going on for like, let's say about a year, where there was this help, but the person was like, but I'm not ready. We're not ready to go down an unconventional route. We're still pursuing medical treatment in the traditional medical model. But she kept, there'd be conversations, and my friend would check in because she was concerned. And the person was like, I'm interested, but we're not ready yet. We're going to exhaust the, what the doctors and the medical community are sharing with us. Okay, so that's fine. And my friend had the resources, and she might have even shared some of the resources with her friend, but this person didn't take action up until, I would say, I think a couple months ago, when things got very intense for the partner that's been ill, to the point of it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, and everything we've done has not helped. And then she really reached out to my friend and said, okay, I'm ready now for your resources. I'm ready now to pursue this other stuff. With the question of, do you think it will help? Now, none of us are doctors. My friend and I were not doctors. And also, we can't predict the future. And she said, I don't know if it will help, but I'm happy to give you the resources. But where this situation was heading, it had progressed to a point where, and I believe in miracles, but it would have taken a miracle for this to turn around. I also don't know the outcome because I haven't been in touch with my girlfriend in about a month or so I haven't asked her what's been going on. But anyway, she gave this person the resources. So finally, when this person was ready and they asked for it, the help was received. And my friend and I, we've been in situations where we're just ready. We're like, we've got information. We can help. We can make suggestions. We are here to support you. We're here to listen. But we also know people, and we're, happy to help you to feel better, to get better. And we've all been in this situation, I think. In fact, one of my herbal teachers, when I was doing my herbal studies, he said, and including me, he's like, and including me, I don't make changes until, and he said, I don't, but he said, most people won't make a change until their back is up against the wall, until things are really, really, really bad. And that's sort of like human nature. I don't know why that is. It's kind of strange that we will just push our bodies to the limit and push certain things, and then when we're like, really, like, wow, I have to make some changes. Sometimes we've pushed too far. We've gone too far. And can you pull it back? Yes. Does it always work? Sometimes. So we've all been in those situations where we don't take action until it's like we're at like the last leg of the race, so to speak. And I was some years ago, this was about 7 years ago, I worked with this woman, and she was always very happy and lovely, and there was a time when we worked together where there was just this sadness, and I asked her what was going on, and she told me that her sister was sick and was going through cancer, and it didn't look good. She had young kids, I think like maybe tweens or teenage age children. And she, they were doing all the things that the doctors were prescribing or saying they should do. And my friend, to lose somebody that is like under 50, that's close to you, that's family, that has children themselves, it was just heartbreaking. And I kind of offered the same thing to her that my friend offered to her friend. I said, I can hook you up with some people that can help and support your sister. And she just looked at me like confused because she didn't know quite what I was talking about. Just confused, and kind of, she was in a state of shock, to be honest. So I was just there, and I, said, let me know if you'd like the resource. I'm happy to share it with you. But she never did. And I think, sadly, that her sister did pass away. So I'm going to tie this back to the title of the live is, can we save anyone? Can we save everyone? Can we help? I mean, the answer is yes, we can help. We can be a support, of course. But for me, where I was finding myself these past 5 or 6 years, I was just overly concerned, overly wanting to share, overly wanting everybody to see what I see and to know that things are getting better. But they don't feel really good right now. They feel really like we've been tossed in, like, we've all been thrown in this like food processor, and they've turned the speed up on high, and it's been on high for like the past 5 years. It's hard. It's really hard. And my instinct is to rush and help and save and all this stuff. And I did a live about this a little, like last year, I think, where, like, what part of me is wanting to rush out and save everybody? I had to really look at that. Like, what part of me wants everybody else to feel okay? And that was a part of me that didn't feel okay, that needed the saving at some point in my life. At some point, I didn't get that. And so I have a wound and a trigger around that, and I don't want people to feel that same feeling of pain and suffering and victimhood that maybe I felt. And more than once. I'm sure I felt more than once. So there's this like rescuer in me. And when I can really acknowledge that, I pull myself back and I start working and healing and talking to those parts that need that love and support and rescuing. And when I can do that, I don't have to rush out and rescue and save everyone else. So the aha that came in for me this week when I was like, I have to, or I want to. It wasn't that I have to. I really want to. This, I feel like, is like this burning desire and this motivating thing that I wake up and I'm wanting people to see through the BS and the lies. And it's just a lot of stuff that we are being shown in our media that is not true. And I want people to see past that. But I'm gonna circle back to my friend that helps me to see things from that higher perspective. In a conversation that she and I had this year, she said to me, what if people need to go through the pain? What if people need to suffer? What if people need to experience loss or the death of someone to have a catalyst, to have something shift for them? She was basically saying to me, this is the path that they've chosen. They've chosen suffering. She flat out said to me, I know you want to rush in and help. I know you want to save certain people and help. But she said, some people have made a contract. They have literally made a contract, like on the other side before they came into a human body, that they would experience X, Y, and Z. That they would experience a bankruptcy or financial hardship or a breakup, like a deep breakup, or a divorce, or multiple divorces, or losing someone to a very intense illness. We make contracts sometimes to lose a child, sometimes a young child, sometimes a child grows up and they're a young child, and there's all these contracts that we make on the other side that sometimes our humanness doesn't quite understand. And because we are in the humanness of our lives, we're like so busy in the 3D that we don't have that eagle's view of like the higher perspective. And why is this happening? Why did I choose this? What is my lesson? And that's what my friend kept really hammering the point to me of what if the lesson and the gift of going through the suffering and the loss cracks them open and sets them on like a healing journey or healing path, or connects them more with their soul and connects them more with source than you, Anastasia, trying to make them see what's going on. What if they need to experience breaking a leg? What if they need, I mean, one thing that really gets to me is when I go to the grocery store and I see people walking around with oxygen tanks. And I know that obviously they need that they're at a point in their life where that is necessary for them for part of the day or maybe the whole day. And it really breaks my heart. We never really saw that 10, 20 years ago. I certainly didn't see it when I was growing up and I'd go to the grocery store, but now it's fairly common. I don't see it every time, but I do see it more and more. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on in this person's life, and it's not my place to judge, but they are needing this support. But it breaks my heart that we are at a place we are just at a place where whatever health challenges that this person has gone through, it was not able to, they were not able to be helped in another way. And now there's the oxygen tank. And thank God for the oxygen tank. But I don't believe anyone should suffer. I believe that there is always a solution. I believe in preventative medicine. And I know that in the U.S. we are really, the allopathic is sort of like triage and all that. So, yeah, hi Alita. I find peace within me to be able to share it. Yep. And that's exactly what happened to me this week, is I had to come into a place of equilibrium and peace. And I really heard my friend's words ringing true, like, what if this is somebody's path? And that literally unhooked me from wanting to shout from the rooftops what I think is happening, the truth, the lies. I was like, okay, what if this is how they've chosen to walk on the earth at this time? And I need to be okay with that, because it's not my job to save everyone. It's not my job to pull everyone back from the brink. And the most ironic thing is I was in this like frenzy and on this hamster wheel. And as much as I wanted to help others, I was like driving myself insane. And there was not much peace in my heart and in my mind and in my body at times. I'm not saying every day I was stressed out, but so I think you're right, Alita, to find peace within, to be grounded and centered is the key. And then we can shine and emanate out. And I think we are a better role model, beacon of light when we are shining in our strength than when we are coming from that place of weakness. Now, that weakness for me is a gift, because I'm able to empathize and sympathize with people and really like understand where they're coming from. So I don't mean weakness in a bad sense, but it's more powerful to come from that place of feeling strong and centered and peaceful and neutral, and to look at other folks and say, you are on your own journey, you are on your own path. If our paths cross and we help each other heal something or learn something from one another, or even trigger something within each other that promotes health and healing, that's a beautiful thing. So I hope that I was able to convey the beauty and the magic of that shift for me, and asking for help, asking for that putting that prayer out, and like having some magic happen overnight where my heart the next day was like, okay, I don't need to save everyone. I can just share from my heart and drop those seeds, and people can pick them up or not. And I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay, because I know ultimately we are all always okay. We are all always protected. We are beings of light, and nothing can ever really harm us. And that's something else that my girlfriend says a lot. She says, there's nothing that can harm you. Like, even when we die, I believe we just go on to another existence. We have another expression of ourselves. So she's like, even death is like, it's an illusion because we're eternal beings. So it doesn't really end. So I hope that for anyone that has watched this, and I know it's a longer video, I appreciate you staying on till the end. I hope that if there was somebody out there that needed to hear this, that if it helped you, this is the reason why I did it. Of course, not just to hear myself talk, but maybe some other folks are struggling with something in their life, and there was something here where if you, I'm hoping that there's just peace right now, that there's been a shift in just listening to these stories, and if not, I am hopeful that you will find peace and have a sense of like releasing and surrendering to whatever I don't want to call it a demon, but like whatever you're struggling with, whatever that question is, somehow we can just like put it on the altar and let it be. Like, give it up, surrender, give it to source, and just know that we're all okay. We are eternal. Everything's gonna work out. Yeah, even if it doesn't look like it and feel like it in this moment, it's all gonna be just fine. And I have found that the more emotionally, like the more I throw myself in that soup and I'm like trying to figure it out, it just gets worse. So I need to remind myself to pull back, just pull back, be in a neutral state, put on like my neutral glasses, and just be curious about what I'm seeing and feeling, and ask myself, like, what is really real? Like, what's real here? Because our thoughts change, our emotions and our feelings change. What is the truth of the situation? How can I really help? Using discernment, like, when should I say something? What should I say? When do I just listen? When do I offer support? And I try to ask people, like, I try to ask you, would you like support, or would you like to hear what I have to say? Because so often, like, we want to rush in and tell people what we think that they should do, which I'm very guilty of. But I like to try to pull myself back and say, all right, let me listen and let me see what's appropriate here. And let me ask and see if people really want support or if they just want to vent. So anyway, so I don't keep yammering on here, I'm going to end it. If there was a gift or a nugget that you received from this, I'm very grateful. If anyone wants to leave a comment with a story or something, I would love to hear what you all have to say. And I hope you have a beautiful evening as I close out. All right, see you next time.